Good morning, everybody. So today's day 52. I'm in Psalm 128, which I need to break it down because, wow, I'm just saying, wow. The verses I like were 1 and 2. It says, "Blessed are all who fear the Lord, who walk in his ways." And the second verse says, "You will eat the fruit of your labor. Blessings and prosperity will be yours." What? You will eat the fruit of your labor. Like that's that thing that's just popping out to me. And then like there's verses 3 and 4, and it's talking about olive tree, and like how, not necessarily olive tree, but like how your wife is going to be fruitful and your children are going to be like olive shoots. And so I was looking up that stuff, and like I encourage you to look up olive trees, because the Bible talks about a lot about olives and the pressing and the crushing and stuff like that. Wow, that's all I'm saying. Wow, it's incredible. Just what? Okay, so but the questions I'm going to focus on verses 1 and 2, and I'll have to do something else on the olive tree because my God. The questions are: do you believe that God rewards good in this life? Why or why not? How or how not? And the second question: will happy, godly families lead to a prosperous, peaceful nation? Why or why not? How or how not? So these are my thoughts. On the first question, do you believe that God rewards good in this life? I said yes, and experience is the best teacher. And the verses that came to me were Galatians 6 and 7. It says, "Be not deceived, God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he reap. That shall he also reap." And Hebrews 11 and 6. Okay, I'm outside because I have to go to the doctor today. But without faith it is impossible to please him, for he who comes to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of those that diligently seek him. And Luke 6:38, "Given it shall be given unto you, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over shall men run into your bosom." What? Okay, so that's the King James version, because I'm a King James girl, and I'm getting like dripped on. This is weird. Okay, sorry. So, yes, I believe that God does, and I think there's the other scripture I didn't look that one up. I know it's in the Old Testament, and it was David who's talking about, "Surely I shall see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living." What? The second question: will happy, godly families lead to a prosperous, peaceful nation? Prosperous, peaceful. Hard to say together. Why or why not? How or how not? Oh, you know what I forgot on the first question? Flip back, sorry. I guess the question should be, because it says, do you believe that God rewards good in this life? The question is, what is your reward? Like, what are you looking at as a reward? Are you looking at spiritually or fleshly? And I think that that I have changed so much, because at first, like, it was just like, okay, yeah, the devil's gonna come hitting me. I pass this test, and God gives me a gift, right? And I always looked at it as material things, not spiritual things. And now I'm looking at spiritual things. Like, those to me are way more important. And I guess it's just a growth factor and a maturing thing of God. But the spiritual things are far more important than the fleshly or worldly things, or materialism, whatever you want to call it. Like getting a new car, who cares? You know what I'm saying? It's just a car. You need it to get you from A to B to C, but it's just a car. As long as I have a car that works, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? And this is just an example. I'd rather see, somebody, like my coworkers get saved. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd rather see that, or family members get saved, or me just grow more in God and understand things. Because the more I understand, like I said yesterday, I truly believe the devil is becoming less powerful for me. Excuse me. Actually, I believe he has no power whatsoever, because it's all about what you're learning and what you're doing. I mean, I can choose to do things. It's my choice whether I do things wrong or right. You know what I'm saying? It's not the devil. He can always tempt me, but he has no power with me. The more I learn and the more I understand and the more God shows me and I see, he has no power. He only has that power if I allow him and I give it to him. But ultimately it's my choice. You know what I'm saying? He can't make me do anything at all. It's my choice. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I can't blame the devil for anything. He can try and deceive me, he can try and do whatever, but ultimately it's my choice. You know what I'm saying? And there's a scripture that talks about we're drawn away and enticed by our lusts, I think it is, you know, and that is so true because I mean, there's things I see that I want, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sorry, I'm like in love with clothes, like I just am, and I've said that so many times. I mean, I'm an honest person. Like, some men are just really, um, wow, they're just really good looking. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, they're enticing, but ultimately, what is it going to bring you? What what else do they have besides this outside? You know what I'm saying? Like on the inside, what else? What do you have? You know. Um, Anyways, I guess the question is, what are you considering, or what are you considering a reward? Is the question for me. I don't know. I went way off on that one. So back to the second question: will happy, godly families lead to a prosperous, peaceful nation? I think it's a trick question. Like, honestly, I thought about the Christians who started this country and the reason why they came here. I'm so not a history person. Like, I flunked out history. Like, if I got a D to pass, I was lucky, okay? Because I didn't like it. You know, I just thought it was so boring, okay? But they came here from Britain to have religious freedom. You know, that's why this country was started, and it's so ironic. So ironic that we're kicking away what the country was started with. But I say, look at where we're at now. You know what I'm saying? They started it, and this country, I think, like I said, I'm not a history buff, but it's like so prosperous, and it's not peaceful now, but it has become so prosperous. You know what I'm saying? And that's because of them, you know, living for God. You know, that's why this country, you know, got to be so great, is because of them, you know. But now look at where we're at, you know. But then the question is, now, do we have happy, godly families? And I'm sure there's some, but I just guess, I'm guessing, like, it's just way too few. And the enemy has torn apart the family because the family is so important. Wow. Okay, sorry, I'm getting revelation about different things. The family is important, and the enemy is tearing that apart. And we know right from wrong, and it says in the Bible, so there's no sense, you know, homosexuality is wrong. A woman and a woman can't produce a baby. A man and a woman can't produce a baby. God initiated the family unit, you know, and for one man and one woman to be married and to raise children and have children and do all that. He initiated that, and there's a reason for it. God does stuff for a reason. You know what I'm saying? It's for our protection, for ultimately our blessing, for our growth, for it's just for the ultimate greatest good for us, is what the stuff that God initiates. You know what I'm saying? And so the enemy has torn that apart, because if he tears that apart, you know what, there's a scripture that says a house divided cannot stand. It's in the New Testament somewhere, one of the Gospels. I don't know, I know it's there. But it's so true. Like, I think I'm not in the military, but military strategy, there's a thing that's called divide and conquer. You know what I'm saying? If there's division, you're more easily conquered if I divide you. Like, if you're together, you know, like the family, if they're together, they can fight. You know what I'm saying? And I've talked about this before, about people, you know, just being together, not even just like the church is a family unit. When we're together, we can fight more than if we're apart. You know what I'm saying? So what does the enemy come in to do? He comes in to divide, and then he can conquer. You know what I'm saying? If he divides the church, then he can conquer it more easily. If he divides the family, then he can conquer it more easily. And then we're not going to have peace. We're not going to be prosperous. You know what I'm saying? And I think it more goes back to spiritually prosperous. We're not going to be, you know, look at this country. I mean, it's torn apart. You know what I'm saying? On so many things, the enemy is dividing us on so many things, and it's going to be so easy for him to conquer us because of that. You know what I'm saying? He divides us politically, religiously, what do you call it? Class-wise, not materialism, but, you know, rich or poor, what was it? Oh, racially. I mean, he's dividing us on everything, you know, and it's going to be so easy for him to conquer us because we're so divided. Like, we can't even, just I guess agree to disagree, you know what I'm saying, and move along and get along somehow. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And I'm not saying I'm perfect by any means, because I'm not. So I'm a staunch, can I say that? Staunch, does that make sense? I am, I guess I would say, a avid Republican Christian. Like, I am. Like, do I vote Democrat? Yes, I do. But for the most part, do either party really stand for anything I believe for? Not really. I mean, the majority of them are all in it for what they're in it for themselves. But for the most part, the Republican Party is supposed to stand on my Christian beliefs for the most part. Can I say that these people do it? No, because we live in a fallen world. But I mean, I'm going to stand for what I believe. You know what I'm saying? But I think I have to do better at showing my actions as far as what I believe, and that goes for everyone. We can we can read the Bible, we can study the Bible, we can believe whatever, but then it's ultimately, what do your actions show? It's like when that person cuts you off in traffic, do you flip them off? Is that Christian-like? You know what I'm saying? Do I do that? No, I don't flip them off, but I sure say some words that, I mean, I don't even say cuss words, but I'm just like yelling at them. Is that Christian-like? No, it's not. So we have to get to the place that God continues to mature us and grow us, that these things that the enemy tries to bring our way, I'll say, do not allow us to act in the flesh, but that we continue to act in the spirit. And that is so not easy. It just depends. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not. I think it depends upon how much pressure and how much different stuff the enemy throws at you. At least for me, it used to be like that I would flip, but now it takes a lot. Like, he has to bring a lot of pressure down on me from different circumstances before I'm gonna flip. So anyways, I don't know, that's it for today. I just think yeah, every time I sit down and do this, I'm like, okay, I read this chapter and I'm like, what? But then when you start reading it, and then I'm reading the little questions that make you think on the side, but also I'm starting to look up the different things. Like I was telling you about the olive tree. Like, when you look at these things, and you have to look up from the perspective that the Bible was written, like the different things that they did, and back then, like how culture was, and all about farming and all that kind of stuff. Like, you have to learn about that stuff to understand what the scriptures actually mean, and it helps you to get it, now, because this world is so much different now than when, the Bible was written. Anyways, I hope y'all got something out of today. Just think about whatever. I strongly encourage you to look up like olive, I think the scripture was talking about your children are going to be like olive shoots, and I was like, I have no clue what that means, so I need to look it up. And it brought me into learning about the olive tree, and like, it is so awesome because it was showing me the machines that they used to press in Israel, press the olives within Israel. Okay, so just look it up. I encourage you to have a great day. Today's Thursday, it's almost Friday, we've almost made it to the end of the week. Yeah, just have a great day, guys. Peace out. Bye.